Hey folks, good afternoon. Thank you for joining our session today, this afternoon. We are here today with Nitali Agrawal. Nitali specializes in data science, across various verticals. She has more than 10 years of experience in this space. She's currently working in the supply chain domain and has a PG diploma in business analytics. She actually has published a paper on use of predictive analytics in the world of cricket and is also currently leading a pro bono community project which helps in selecting the best players. So she mentors at Co-Learning Launch, which is a data science community, and also our community partner for this event. And she's also passionate about karate. And her today's session is use of predictive analytics in the world of cricket, basically fantasy 11 team prediction for IPL 2020, and how to use a data science approach for that. So Nitali, over to you.
Thank you, Snehat, for the introduction. So, hi all. Hope you are enjoying this conference today. So, today's topic for this session is Fantasy 11 Team Prediction for IPL 2020. Recently, we concluded this project. It is we tried to use data science, all the historical data, and predict Fantasy 11 team for each and every match of IPL 2020 because now cricket is no more just a passive game for the viewers. It has become active game with additional fantasy apps coming along, Dream 11, MPL, My 11 Circle, so on and so forth. So if you see, at least who are pros, they don't need this thing, but people are likely to join these leagues and play these games. So for them it is always means more of they are losing the money, so we try to reduce that loss probability, or in other words I would say we try to increase their winning probability by predicting the fantasy 11. And see, cricket or any sports has its own means it is unpredictable. You can't judge 100% of it, but we tried our best, and on an average, 7 to 8 players were making to dream team. So that's a huge success for us. And all this data was collected from the free data sources. So today's agenda would be we will go towards the introduction, architecture, implementation, and results. So, if I talk about introduction, everybody knows what is cricket. I don't think so nowadays. Anybody would be there who don't know. And at least for the India, it is a religion, and we have always heard cricket is a religion and Sachin is a god. So I have at least grown up listening to this phrase only. But anyhow, now cricket is into different domains. You have T20, ODI, Test matches, all different formats are there. Even T10 is there also, which doesn't make much sense. But yeah, it is also one of the formats. So T20 has gained immense popularity among youths and everyone because it is a quick game. You don't have to sit for 5 days to watch that, but every format has their own pros and cons. T20 has its own. It's quite unpredictable. You have different features which you can't club with ODI. That is one day international, of course. So over here what we did is we tried to fetch all the historical data present at different levels. With different levels, what I mean is T20 internationals, IPL, and all this. We tried to collect the data from different sources, Cricinfo, from Kaggle, ball by ball data. We have pretty much 3 or 4 sources from where we collected the data, and we tried many approaches. Means basically 2 approaches we would be discussing over here. But now data is everything. Data speaks a lot. Until unless I believe in this quote by Ronald Coase that torture the data and data will confess to you. That's what we were trying to do over here. We were trying to torture the data as much as possible to give us the best fantasy player for each and every game. So we collected the career and recent statistics of all T20 international games, including IPL. And you all would be knowing that there are 3 major parameters when we talk about cricket. One is batting, bowling, and fielding. All rounders come in all these three categories. Some could be batting all rounder, bowling all rounder, or a mix of it. But fielding is a field that every player should be active on, and you have points in Dream 11 for that. So this project was not for each and every IPL during IPL, each and every fantasy app. It was mainly for the partnered app that was Dream 11. And thus, because every fantasy app has their own rules, you have to come up with different set of algorithm or statistical model. And since this was a pro bono project, so we tried to come up with the best one, that is the Dream 11, most popular one. And cricket has gained its immense popularity over the years. 2.5 billion persons estimated global following. It is the second most popular sports in the world. So let's see what I have rest in store with for you. So problem statement over here was prediction of Fantasy 11 team for each match of IPL 2020, considering batting, bowling, and fielding points of each player. Now, it's quite challenging to see that in sports analytics, I'm not talking about cricket in general. If I want to make a statement, it would be that feature selection, overall data science, if you talk about feature selection, play a crucial role. And in sports analytics specifically, there is a problem of multicollinearity that exists. That is, a lot of variables are correlated, and that's where all the problems comes into picture. You have to deal with those variables very crucially, very tactically. You should deal with them and give them weightage or something, and then come up with it. So, and another problem, batsmen, bowler, who are coming in all-rounder category, many players. If you talk about England, if I just talk about England cricket team, out of the 11 players, 9 are clubbed under all-rounder category. That's really hilarious, right? Because we have seen batsmen, bowlers, all-rounders would be 1 and 2, but actually it is not. With all-rounder, now the definition has changed. It is not 50-50. For batting, you might be a player like Hardik Pandya. Recently, we have seen in this Australia tour of India, we have seen that Virat Kohli gave finally ball to Hardik Pandya because he can bowl, but his strength is batting. So he's a batting all rounder who can bowl also. Similarly, if I talk about England a pacer, that is Jofra Archer, he is a bowling specialist, but he can bat. I won't compare him batting like Ben Stokes. I won't. Ben Stokes is also all rounder, but still, I won't compare him batting like Virat Kohli. Now, if I talk about Ben Stokes, he is more into batting than on bowling. So might be if in T20 he has to bowl 4 overs per bowler is allocated, Ben Stokes might bowl only 2 overs, but Jofra Archer would be bowling 4 overs. That's for sure, because his strength is over there. Although both are clubbed under the category of all rounder. So how to deal with that? Because in batting, what happens is you higher the parameters, better it is. Better is the batsman. And in bowling, it is just reverse. Lower the parameter, better is the bowler. So let's see what all strategies we have. As I told you, there were many, but we can't go through each and every of them in just this half an hour session. But I'll try to cover the major ones. And for that, one which we used initially, but later on that was discarded post on the test and everything, and we came up with a similar strategy on other aspects. Let's see. So, but before going into this strategies plan, let's see how the data was collected. So, this data collection was throughout for all the strategies. Data was collected at different levels, okay, and with extensive features. This data was collected for international T20 matches and past IPL seasons. All since 2008, we have IPL. So from there, and T20 started in 2006. So from that, whether the player has played is currently playing in the IPL or not, irrespective of that, we collected each and every player stats. Along with this, season-wise IPL scorecards were also collected, which were further used in our Monte Carlo simulation. Head-to-head, that is ball-by-ball data for each and every player was collected for all the IPL seasons, which gave us head-to-head comparison of each player. Suppose it's quite interesting to see, like if you have Virat Kohli and if you have Sandeep Sharma has taken Virat's wicket quite a good number of times. So there are chances that in a particular match where these Sunrisers and RCB are playing, we should select either one of them, and that one should be the one who would give us more fantasy points. So that's how the fantasy app works. Whether it is Virat who would be giving with his batting, or whether it's Sandeep Sharma who would be giving with his bowling. So we considered each and every player who has ever played T20 and IPL matches. Data set was divided in train and test based on below criteria. Train data was made up from start, that is for T20 it is 2006, for IPL it is 2008 till 2018. That was the mega auction for IPL, and test data was 2018 till 2019, of course before this IPL 2020. But since no matches have been played generally in 2020, so I would say it is still 2019. And we have also seen this pandemic situation had made this game more unpredictable. If you see, in the first 28 matches, that was just the half of the IPL season, because it was 56 matches in total, apart from your other quarterfinals, semis, and final. So we saw this thing that the players who are anticipated to perform explicitly well, like you have Shikhar Dhawan, his 2019 stats. If I see his IPL stats, they were fairly enough that good enough that he would be doing amazing. But due to this COVID, players didn't get a chance to play, and that's the reason their recent form was not coming out. But after 28 matches, they have settled down, and we could see that the players who were anticipated to play well, they are coming back to their form. So, but England and Australian players got a chance to play their summer league before this IPL. So that data was also collected, and also we collected other series data for untapped players for fair comparison, because you just can't go with this international matches and say that these are uncapped players, they might not perform. You should know some justification. So these were all the parameters on which the data was collected. As I told you, this was first strategy that we had in store. And the approach was that we will come up with batting and bowling strength of players based on their T20 game statistics. Now, what is this batting and bowling strength? So we have different parameters. If you see, the batting parameters are listed out over here: hard hitting, finisher, consistency, running between the wickets, batting strike rate, batting average. So all these are from different parameters, like runs, not out. If I say about consistency, career batting runs divided by career batting innings minus career batting not out. This is in terms of career I have written, but same thing was done for IPL also. Both were segregated. One was for career, that is for T20 internationals, and the other one was for IPL data. So like this, different parameters were considered for batting. For bowling, these were the parameters: wicket taking ability, crucial wicket taking ability, that is 5 wickets haul or 4 wickets haul, shot per index, bowling strike rate, bowling economy, and bowling average. So these were the parameters that were considered. But you can't have all the parameters, you can't measure all the parameters on the same line, right? So we said, okay, we will give some or the other weightage to each and every parameter based on AHP, that is analytical hierarchy process. Based on that, we will give weightage to each and every parameter and come up with a batting strength of a player and a bowling strength of a player. Then we will create a model which will tell you whether this player is should be part of that specific match or not. So this was one of the things that we did. But over here, we faced one major challenge, and that was quantifying above parameters for an all-rounder. As I said, some might have bowling as their strength, and batting could be the secondary thing, but they are clubbed as all-rounder. Some might have 50-50, but batting and bowling, higher the thing for batting, higher the parameters for the batting, better the player is. lower the parameters for bowling, better the players. So over here, the comparison between these two parameters for the same player was really challenging, and it was not making sense. Like I can't say Jofra Archer is not a good player. I won't have him in team because his if I average out his batting and bowling thing, it will change, and that depends on player to player. You can't rank every bowler on the same means bowling all rounder on the same lines. Might be he is 20% good. Ex player who is a bowling all rounder is just 20% good in batting, but a same another Y player who is bowling all rounder is 30% good or 10% good in batting. So you can't just generalize this thing. So that's where this approach was dumped. And later on similar lines, we came up with strategy two. So, what was this strategy? Instead of strength, we said we will calculate batting and bowling points of a player on based on their T20 statistics, both T20 statistics, IPL and T20 international. So these points were similar to fantasy points system for Dream 11, and I've listed down the point system how they have it. So these were the points that we considered. If some player has batting points, so suppose runs are there, is scored 100 run in a match. So all his statistics are showing that he has scored 100 overall. So we will give that plus 100 points, and then we were averaging it out and all these things, and we came up with this point approach. Batting and bowling points approach was taken for each and every player. He has to score 25 runs, and a bowler taking one wicket is equal to that 25 points. So that's good, right? That's fair comparison that we are going to do. Because now if you are taking an all-rounder who has taken suppose three wickets means 75 points over here as per the point system, and as batted but got 10 runs. So 85, that's a good choice, right? So these were the parameters that we could compare bowling and batting both for the all-rounders. So that was the basic advantage of this strategy. So additional points that we compared, this was the final strategy that we used. We took the point system and finally came up with all the points. We created the statistical model. We ranked all, each match. Suppose there is X match. That first match was between CSK and MI this time. So we selected all whosoever were the players were going anticipated playing 15 for each team. Sorry, playing 11 for each team. So because this time there was no press conference pre-match, and we don't know who were playing 11 or anything. But over here, that was one of the challenges that we faced. So we took those data, we segregated it in the order who are the top batsmen, bowlers for every team, and then we chose our team. This was done for each and every match. Apart from
Mitali,
that,
sorry to interrupt you. We're not seeing your screen, so I'm not sure if you've stopped sharing.
no, I am sharing my screen. Uh,
Okay, all right. You can continue then.
yeah, just a moment. Are you able to see my screen now? Is it visible?
Yeah. All right.
Okay, okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. So additional points were taken into consideration over here, which was head-to-head thing for the player. As I told you guys that head-to-head player matchup that was based on their ball-by-ball data was taken into account. Like Sandeep Sharma has got Kohli out many times, so either with higher chance of fetching points was considered in match against one another. Dream 11 point system need to be adhered to. Total points can't cross 11 while creating the team. So we have to see what is their credit points, and based on that, sometimes we have to miss on the top player in our model, and we have to select a player lower credit points. So that was also one of the challenge. At sorry, additional information. At max, 7 players for one team could be present in fantasy team. You can't have all the players. You have to maintain that balance. At least three batsmen, three bowlers, one wicket keeper, and one all rounder needs to be picked in team. That's the rule of Dream 11. That also need to be adhered to. So all these pointers were taken into account. Maintain balance between the players of both the teams. Like it should not be 7-3. It should most likely be 5-6 or 6. 5-6 was the ratio that we tried to maintain. Ground on which the match was being played, because what's the pitch? Later we saw that was what it became a slow wicket pitch and all that. So these were also taken into consideration. Results
Yeah.
on an average, we were
We
able to
lost your
predict
screen
6 to 7
again,
players.
Nitali.
I am not sure why is it happening. I'm continuously sharing, and it's the text. I'm sharing my complete desktop.
Could you try to stop sharing and reshare again?
I started resharing it
Yeah,
again.
now I see it. Now I see it. Yeah, perfect.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay.
So,
So yeah. So results for this strategy were: average 6 to 7 players were predicted correctly as part of the dream team. Worked well for all rounders as it was a balanced approach. These were the final results, and it was good. We were seeing, means we were also playing with the same team and all these things. So we were seeing that people are their losing probability basically reduced and their winning probability increased. Challenges faced: unpredictable nature of the game. That's definitely everywhere in all the strategies. I called it out before also. Now also I would like to call out. We were not like. Coming up with multiple teams. Okay, 5 teams you will create, you select best. We were given just one team. We were coming up with one team based on the data. It was purely a data based approach instead of a gut feeling based approach. And pandemic situation has totally ruptured recent format of the players. That was another factor adding to the unpredictable nature. Suppose we were saying, okay, Shikhar Dhawan is most likely to play, or based on the statistics, it was showing that Shikhar Dhawan is going to play, but eventually it didn't happen. Dinesh Karthik was going to play, but it didn't happen. So that's the reason that also ruptured. Recent form was not great for the players. Location was different than historical data. Everything is it matters really. Every time we see IPL is conducted in India, but this time it was in UAE because of this pandemic situation. So what happened is, whatever data we were having, that was for a specific type of a pitch. Now you can't match one pitch to another. That's really cumbersome thing to do, and it won't make much sense. We tried doing that also, but it didn't make much sense. So what we did is, that factor also caused some problem, but we tried to neutralize it by understanding what type of a ground it is, whether it lies in we segregated data into three categories. You can score between 120 to 150, 150 to 180, and 180 to 180 above. So these were the three categories, because there were three grounds, three locations. So three locations were categorized like this, and then based on that, we were taking our decisions. So this was a strategy that we have. Now, if I talk about data collection, so as I already informed, now let's see what was the granularity. Cumulative performance statistics per player considering the T20Is played between 2006 and September 2020. That is just before the start of IPL 2020 were selected, and it was like a career stats for each and every player, one record per player. Then cumulative same player level, one record per player stats were collected for IPL. That is from 28 till 2020. Means till 2020, I mean before whatever IPL has happened before the start of IPL 2020. IPL matches scorecard between 2008 and 2020 were collected. Granularity, each match wise and each player wise, these stats were collected. Statistics of every single match captured per player. IPL matches ball by ball data between 2008 and 2020 were collected. Statistics for every single match captured per player per ball played was collected, and that was really important to get to head to head. Multiple times we saw that these combinations really worked well. Even if you see, all these channels were also showing this head to head matchups, but we were taking that into account before this matches, or before the channels will announce this thing. So these were part of a model. And now, if I talk about architecture, so just to add to this thing, we enhanced this approach also. This strategy too was enhanced later on. After 28th match, we enhanced it and we used Monte Carlo simulation. So this Monte Carlo simulation was, we created a simulator for all the players, where we considered two strategies. One was that for batsmen, they should be able to at least score 20 runs. And for the bowler to be good, they should, to be considered, should be able to get at least one wicket. Okay, so that was used, and we ran 1,000 iterations per player. And how it happened is, it will give you the probability, that what is the probability of matching this consistency, and based on that we arranged the player and selected for the fantasy team for each and every match. And to a surprise, means it really improved the model. I won't say much, because again that unpredictability and everything comes into picture, but it improved it to seven, from 6 to 7 players being predicted. It made it at least 8 to 9. Some of them even we could see 10 players were being predicted correctly. On an average, we did quite well over here after using Monte Carlo simulator. Data collection, initial raw data that I have were collected on all these features, batting features, what all we have, matches played, innings, not outs, run scored, high score, and all these things. And same for bowling and other features. Other features were like number of catches, that this is the fielding parameter, number of stumpings done, ground, team name, opponent, all these things were collected. Architecture, if you see, this is the basic stuff that we did. First, we collected the data from basic source was Cricinfo, did exploratory data analysis to see which variables were highly correlated, derived new variables, which I told you, high hitting, hard hitting, and consistency, finisher, shot per index, all these were calculated. Since variables were highly correlated, we used AHP to give weightage for strategy 1. Strategy 2, definitely it was on points, weightage was not considered. Data preparation was done after feature selection. Statistical model was built for batsmen and bowlers to select top performers for any given match. And after building the model on historical data for each match of IPL 2020 Fantasy, 11 were predicted. Predicted maximum possible players in Dream 11. That's what the vision was. Predict maximum possible players in Dream Team for each match of IPL 2020. Let me just show you quickly this 2 minutes video. Snehit, let me know once start playing. I think so it could be visible.
Yeah, I can see the
Visible?
video.
Okay.
Yeah.
So if you will just see whatever I spoke about, this is what the approach was. And so these were the pointers that we have under 19 and everything we considered. When we added simulator model, consistency in performance of player. And this is how a model performed. In you can see how many players were there, what were the difference in the points. Top players were always being selected by a model. That was amazing to see, that how what all data can do. So even we had bad days also, where just 3 players were predicted, and that's because just of some players played who were really unpredictable. Data could never predict this thing. So no approach in data science could be 100% in any domain. But yes, if you see from 28 match onwards, it has increased significantly. The dips and troughs have normalized. More or less, it was 7 to 8 players that our model was able to predict correctly. Even 10 players were predicted at point of time. So So this is it from my side, guys, about the project, how data can speak for you. People think that it is just becoming, creating different machine learning models or AI or something. It will do everything was done in Python and with the use of Excel. And definitely it means all your EDA, that the stats that we brought together and exploded. It was an extensive work of 3 months. It was not done at that within one day we came up with this, or we were doing it on gut feeling. It was purely data based approach that we did, and this is the power of data science. Definitely we are looking forward to improve this model, to at least make it to as much as possible, to take it to 9 to 10 players at least. So we are still working on these, and we will share more results with you. So this is from my side, guys.
Great. Thank you, Nitali. There were a couple of questions
Yeah,
from
sure.
the attendees. The first question was, what is the simulator about?
Okay, so simulator is predicting the probability of the consistency. We had two consistency parameters, right? One was for batting. Batting consistency was that you would be that a batsman will score at least 20 runs and bowler will at least take one wicket. So if a batsman score 20 runs, then he would be 20 points, right? He would gain you 20 points. And if a bowler take one wicket, 25 points. So that's good enough. These all points will add up. So what's the probability, if I have to compare all the bowlers, what's the probability who are more likely to take at least one wicket? And that's how we selected. This is what stimulated it, simulated it, sorry.
Okay, and has this model been deployed somewhere in production, like as in an app, or is it just like a proof of concept that's being tried out?
No, it is not any app. It is a proof of concept right now, but we have tested it with this IPL 2020, and we are coming up with the app most likely for 2020. That's what the plan is. That's what the plan is, right?
Okay, and I think on a lighter note, can I think Santosh asked, can we use the predictions from this to earn money from the models?
Yes, that's what we did for Dream 11. People have been using it, right? So people have been winning. Many of our folks reached out, created a group on WhatsApp and Telegram. People have been reaching out that the model did really well, and we were able to win 100 and 1,000 bucks also. But some said that it was a trashy model because they were definitely the pros in Dream 11 already. So this is never for a pro in cricket or Dream 11 or any fantasy app. It is for the newbies or the mediocres who just go by their gut feeling.
Okay, and one last question from Prakash. Were the weather conditions also taken into account as features when the model was created
So good question,
for every
Prakash.
match?
Yeah, good question, Prakash. Really speaking, I have published one other paper also that was for a World Cup 2019 prediction, and over there also this weather condition was a question. And but that is something that you can't consider until unless the pitch is known. Even the commentators who tell that this is the pitch condition or not, you don't know that will actually work or not. And we have seen over here dew factor is not working sometime, or ball is too slippery, or all these coming up. So what we did is we came up with the fantasy team well before the match starts, around 4 to 5 hours early. And for our viewers on YouTube, everybody can select their team. And since Dream 11 gives you this chance that before the first ball is played, you can make the changes. Toss will happen around 7:05 or 7:10. We will know which are the players playing, which are the finalized 11 for each team that are playing, and what is the pitch condition, at least some information. So we will tweak, we will run our model, and we will quickly tweak some of the players, check whether in and out is there or not. One or two changes we will post in the group. That's how the precision was achieved, because there was very much uncertainty this time.
Great. So thank you, Nitali. That's all the questions that we had for today, or the time that we have for the questions today. Do reach out to Nitali on the Zulip chat link that I've shared in the chat. Nitali, thanks again for your session. It was very insightful and very interesting to know maybe I'll also use the predictions and in my Dream 11 team as well. So thanks again, and thank you for your talk. So that's all for the session. Thank you.
Thank you, Sneh.